Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to Firebase After Hours number 15, and today our topic is Firebase AI Logic with iOS and Swift. But before we get started, you know the drill. We need to go through online behavior guidelines. So essentially, it boils down to let's be nice to each other. Don't call each other names and stuff like that. We've got an online document, which you can see on screen here if you want to learn more about it. If you have any questions, you can use the live chat to ask those questions, and we will try to answer them in the course of the next hour. We might not immediately answer your question, but after a couple of minutes, if you are deep down in a coding session or something like that. But we see all your comments, and if they are civil and polite, we will definitely get to answering them. With that out of the way, let me bring in my favorite co-host, Noe. And here he is. Hey, Noe.
Favorite or only?
How is it going?
How are you?
I'm
It's
good. How are
going.
you?
I'm hanging in there. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday. What have you been up to, man? I've been on vacation, so I've built this thing here. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah. Is that the space shuttle?
Yeah, it is.
That's the miniature model from the real one that you built. Did you actually go and build a full space shuttle?
Going
to go launch it at
No, I'm not going to launch it.
No.
No.
Yeah.
But it was great fun. So I was actually inspired by Rody. So when we were on the stream with Rody, he had the space shuttle in the background. I was like, "Ooh, that looks like something I might enjoy."
That I think Rody's great, but he has a lot of hobbies that I wish I had time for. Every time I talk to him, I'm always like, "When do you sleep?"
Exactly. Yeah.
I think today's guests are probably I think you are probably the most excited about today's guests, if I had to guess.
Why might that be?
Well, you're a big Swiftie, so I imagine having the people that work on the Swift SDK probably brings you a lot of joy.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah. And I have never met these people. So
You
that will be
haven't?
fun.
You haven't?
No,
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So we should bring them on. So let's bring them in. So here are our guests for today. We've got Andrew. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, how's it going?
And we've got Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, everyone.
So tell us where you are, because that's always interesting. We meet online, but it's always interesting to learn where people are based. So Andrew, can you start? Where are you?
So I'm in Waterloo in Canada, so on the other side of the Atlantic from you guys. So it's like noon here.
And I believe Ryan is also based in Canada, right?
Yes, also in Waterloo. I'm not like 2 rooms down from Andrew. I'm in a secret lair, aka my house. And
2 doors down?
2 doors down, yeah. I just like, if I see some static, I'm just gonna like throw a rock and hit his house, and you'll hear the clink on the window.
Yeah. You'll have to throw pretty far. We live on the opposite side of the city. We just couldn't stand each other, so we had to pick opposite sides.
And you both work on the iOS SDK team, is that correct?
Yeah. We first actually started working together in like 2016. Ryan and I were both Swedes on a team that doesn't exist anymore, but it merged into what we work on now. So.
And then you just come as a package to like different teams. So like if Andrew and I want to switch teams, it's like, well, you got to hire, the other one. You just go together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So usually we ask our guests about their favorite indentation pattern, but it would be pretty boring today because I think on the iOS team, all we do is indent by 2 spaces, and there's not much space for deviation. Pardon the pun. So we thought maybe we'll do something different. So when we were setting up for the live stream, I casually asked if Andrew has multi-monitor set up, and he casually dropped, I've got how many monitors?
3.
3.
I mean, one of them's built into the laptop, so does it really count? I don't know.
It does.
Well, yeah. Do you use it?
Yeah.
Then it counts. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just feels more symmetrical to have 3.
Yeah.
But isn't the laptop?
I know one's small, but at least there's stuff coming at me from all sides. So. Yeah.
Andrew, I'm sorry, Ryan, what about you? How many monitors do you usually have?
See, I can't stand bezels. And so I have a 40-inch ultra wide sitting in front of me. That's 5K. And so I've got like the nice big widescreen. I like don't need to turn on lights in here because it's just like is pure brightness. It's like I'm staring into the sun all the time.
Wow.
So you don't have like an external light in that room right now, right? You're just like lit from your monitor.
I have I have a single light bulb hanging out over there, and I have a little bit of a light, a single light bulb hanging on the ceiling. It's an unfinished basement, and so and I do have a small little light for the camera purposes here, but it's not pointing directly at me. Most of the light is in fact coming from my monitor right now.
That is impressive.
That's rough.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So indicated by the light condition, it seems like you might not have multi-monitor setup, or at least not like an ultra-wide monitor.
I just have my monitors on like the dimmest settings, and then I have like an LED panel hanging up, and it's bouncing off of this white wall in front of me because I'm not creative, so there's nothing hanging on the walls, and it's if I didn't have this light panel on, it would just be very dark in here and you wouldn't be able to see me at all. Also, I'm a 2-monitor person, and I specifically do not use my laptop monitor because it's not symmetrical to me.
Oh,
it's too small. Like it just messes up the, so it's shut for me.
I get it. Clamshell mode all the way.
Makes sense.
Maybe Ryan can... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Maybe Ryan can approve a 3rd monitor for me to add here, and then I can go clamshell. And
we're going for the live requests.
Yeah.
That's a bold strategy. Let's see if it plays off.
Yeah. I've got 3 monitors. So this one, which runs my teleprompter, main monitor here, and then the laptop over here, and an iPad, but that's just for monitoring. So we're not here to talk about monitors today. We're here to talk about Firebase AI Logic, and specifically how to use it in iOS apps and Swift apps. And maybe we can take a couple of minutes to first talk about what is it and why you should use it in the first place. Ryan, do you want to give like the elevator pitch?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I don't know if you've heard, but generative AI is getting quite popular these days.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild.
You don't say.
Yeah. And so a lot of the effort so far are around like server-driven development and server-side development. And part of Firebase's original ethos is making it easier for developers to integrate their services into their applications without having to worry about backend code. Where your servers are running, we'll handle all that for you. And so Firebase AI Logic is the easiest way to integrate calls to Gemini and calls to Imagen, the image generation model, directly in your application. A couple lines of code, you write a prompt, and all of a sudden you're getting content back from Gemini or images back from Imagen. And so really we're trying to reduce the amount of effort and the barrier to entry on integrating generative AI into your applications. How's that? That seem reasonable?
Yep. But
I'd buy it.
Sorry, no, you want to say?
Oh, I was saying I would buy it. That sounds like a good elevator pitch.
So here's a question that I often get from people. Why not call the model directly?
It's a good question. So there are two different services that provide Gemini APIs. One is the developer API, and the other is Vertex AI. And both use different authentication patterns. For the developer API, it uses API keys, which is great when you're on a server. But the second you embed your API key in an application and it's running on the end user's device, it's prone to snooping in various ways. And so you could either, people will try to decompile the application and see the string, and then they can start making API calls on your behalf. And same thing, or even if, all right, I'm going to use remote config and I'm going to send the API key over the network, people can proxy that traffic and take a look at the network and sniff those packets and get access to your API key, and then again, make calls on your behalf. So that's not great. And we wanted to make a secure way to be able to call these APIs. So that's the developer API side. On the Vertex API side, it's a cloud-based service, and you need to use Google Cloud credentials to authenticate with the backend service, which again, you can't do from like a device, from an end user's device. And so you need a way to authenticate with these services. And so Firebase AI Logic will do all that communication for you and use Firebase services that you know and love, like AppCheck, to help secure those calls and let you talk to the backend services without having to worry about the security piece yourself.
Mm-hmm. So that sounds like a lot is going on when you want to make a call, but is it also very complicated from the developer's perspective?
Well, hopefully not. we try to make sure it's not. Especially when you're getting started as well. Like, we strongly recommend you use AppCheck in production, but it's not required to get started with the service. And so you add the SDK just like you'd add any other SDK, any other Firebase SDK to your project. And you might already have some SDKs in your project, and so go to Swift Package Manager, add the new library to your target. And then you can start using the APIs. And, within, I think it's like 3 lines of code, you can have some responses, streaming or non-streaming as well. And so we try to make it easy to use, but please give us feedback if it's not easy to use in any way.
Well, can I throw a curveball at you? You said we could restrict it with AppCheck. Can we actually restrict the count of API hits per day?
There are ways to change quota. It's a bit of a complicated problem, and it is one that we are working on trying to make better. Things like user-based API limits and things. They're quite complicated once you sort of get underneath that surface level, both from like a technical side of things and just like a actual behavior piece, because it's very easy when you're playing around with API limits to have unintended consequences. And so it's something that we are very conscious of, and we're trying to come up with some easy to understand solutions for. There are limits you can set. I would say it's we want to do a better job with sort of usability on those.
There's a default quota too, like a per user quota, right?
I think it's we try to have sensible defaults. Yeah. Okay. For all of them, we have sensible defaults, and then you can override those in the console. I think, Andrew, you might have played around a little bit more than I have with the quotas. Anything I missed?
Yeah. So in the console, you can set a per user limit in your Firebase. It'll actually, I should just pull it up, but you can set a per user limit on the number of requests going to the Firebase AI Logic service, and this can be independent from the underlying like Vertex AI or Gemini developer API limits.
Yeah, so I was about to ask, do we want to look at some code, maybe into the console? Do you have a sample that you brought with us that we can walk through? How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a sample. We can also look through the console if you want to start from there.
Maybe so. I really like. Does it make sense to briefly show the sample first and maybe generate a couple of calls and then go to the console and show where you can change that setting?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, the project I'm using should allow us to do that. So over here on the right, we've got this is the app that we want to show off today that you could build. It's currently hard coded to generate a model of you. This is a very detailed picture of you, Peter.
I feel like a very flat character in this story.
It's uncanny.
Yeah,
it really is.
And you just like Google so much that you changed your city of birth you forged everything to say you were in Mountain View. That's just how it works.
Love it.
Yeah. So you were reborn in Mountain View. That's what we'll say. What we want to do is be able to generate these with the prompt, and we can go from there. It's currently not in a state where I can just hit generate, though I could get us back there if we want to, so I can show the console, or we can do that after.
Yeah, let's keep the console in mind, and go through the exercise of building this application, and then we'll go into the console and show a little bit of the stuff that you can do in the console. I think that sounds like a good idea.
Okay. And feel free, Ryan, to pop in if you notice I miss anything here. So, the thing we really want to show off today is structured data. So, if you're building a chat app, it's fine to just get send text and get text back. But if you want to build something like the UI I just showed you, it's really hard to do that if you don't have some sort of, or just from a text string, for example. So what we really want to do is get back structured data like JSON, so that we can fill in a Swift structure and use that to populate our UI. So what Ryan rigged up is a structure defining a D&D character that has a name, an age, city of birth, description, and an image prompt, which is a prompt we'll be giving to our Imagen model to generate an avatar image for the character. So we'll sort of start from the beginning, and we've got the structure of the app already built, and we could link to our quick start later if you want to see what's going on here in more detail. But so in your app, you'll want to instantiate a generative model. This assumes that you've already configured Firebase, and let me know if you think we should show that configuring Firebase. It's actually we can come back to it if anyone has questions about it. But And I'm not great at coding on the fly, so we'll see what issues come up here. So the first thing I guess we'll do is we'll pick a model. We have a lot of them. Surprisingly, even the smallest one of the new bunch, Flashlight, works pretty well for this task, and it's fast. So I'm gonna just use that. I'll just assign it to a constant. Apple's autocomplete didn't do a great job here, but I think it's 2.5 Flashlight. And we have these all documented in the Firebase AI Logic website. Yeah, that's probably the best place to look for them.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, I think one thing to note is as you're playing around with different tasks, I think it's common to automatically jump to the most powerful model you can find. And, hey, Gemini 2.5 Pro, I want to use that. And, using that works great. I would encourage folks to experiment a little bit and try Flashlight and see, like, these models are getting more and more capable by the time. And so as you're thinking of use cases for your application, definitely test out the models and see how each one, both, speed and price are a factor in here. I think another thing, while Andrew's sort of live coding there, if you're like, hey, I have my application and I don't know what I would do with generative AI in my application, I've actually asked Gemini before, where I give it a screenshot of my application, or I give it, some pictures or a video, and I say, hey, I'm looking to add some features using generative AI. What should I add? And it has been pretty wild how successful and how detailed it can be in that. So I encourage you to poke around and try asking.
Did it suggest to implement an is even and is odd function?
Thankfully not. I think
that would be the litmus test for stupid things that my AI tells me.
Yeah. In terms of like models that you need for that, we're going to go all the way to the bottom and say you don't need a model for that. And if so, then I don't know what to suggest.
So just going back here, so one of the features you can, when you're instantiating your model, you can give it what we call a generation config. And here's where you can say, I want you to give me JSON. So a lot of people, when they just want to get started, they'll define the JSON that they want in the prompt. And so that's one way you can do it, but it's never going to be perfect. And so we have a more structured way of doing this, that the model will adhere to the schema you give it, rather than a hope it'll adhere to it kind of situation. And so if we were to just do this, based on the prompt we have, it wouldn't work very well. But how about I'm going to go back to the model that we have here, and I tend to like having it open beside me so that I can write the schema alongside it. So I'm just going to add a computed property and call it like JSON schema or something. And it should be and let me just import Firebase AI.
I have a question for you. The first one is it vibe coding if I ask you for like features while you're writing code live for us? And
no, that's just calling distracting.
Yeah,
it's definitely a vibe.
And then the second question I have is, I saw that you picked Flashlight And if you're doing structured output, does Flashlight actually support structured output? Because I'm looking through the docs and I'm not entirely sure.
It should. Let me actually just.
I can take a look at that, Andrew, while you
thanks.
while you're going through and doing the schema.
And also, I mean, if it doesn't, what would happen?
The backend would yell at you. You'd get an error at runtime.
Maybe we should try and get the backend to yell at us first.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
I'm here
for
it.
We'll just go with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So in this case, the thing we'll be producing is an object, because the structure, it will be a JSON object with fields like name and age. So this is the approach I usually take when I'm doing this. So what we have to provide is a dictionary of strings to other schemas. So so for example, we'll start with name, and a name is a string. I'm just going to fill in the bare minimum, and then we can add stuff to it after that. And then we'll go like age. It's actually, it did a pretty good job there. I think that actually fills in the skeleton. Thanks, Xcode, for doing that. And then what we can do here is say we want the age to be within a certain range. You can add a description like the character's age between
18 and 100. Nice.
Yeah, we'll make it so they're of age everywhere, but even this is this seems to work pretty well, but you can also be more prescriptive and do things like minimum 21 and maximum 100, and then you can just remove that from your prompt. So this is a more strict way to tell it to adhere to these things.
So why is this more, or why should we do this, right? I mean, or rather, if you take one prompt where you put this into the description, like you did in the beginning, and then you use another one where you don't put it into the description, but you use the extra parameters there, like you did now, would the prompt that we send to the model, would that be the same or would it be different?
So the prompt itself will remain the same. But the schema that goes along with the prompt will be different in the two cases. So in the first one, when you give it a description, it's more like a please follow this and hope for the best kind of thing. And the models now are actually quite good at it. Like in our testing, it worked. Sorry, a big truck just went by. The models are quite good at following the instructions you give it now, so it works just fine the other way. But if you have more elaborate things, then under the I'm not an ML researcher by any means, but under the hood, they're doing things that constrain the output tokens that are able to be produced. And so especially when you put it into that JSON application / JSON mode, it will only allow the model to produce next tokens that are actually valid in JSON. So that one at the very least ensures you'll get valid JSON versus the default of plain text. And this now is giving it details on what the fields need to be. So we can also try later if you want different options for this. So right now we have a city of birth. I'm looking at what Ryan had done. He didn't add any details on it because when the variable is named pretty descriptively, it works just fine without doing anything. Another thing you can do, say you only want your characters to be born in, let's say, I don't know. This would be, this is just what Xcode auto-populated here, but you can also say only allow this city to be picked between this set here. This doesn't really fit very well with the D&D theme unless there's maybe D&D next edition that's very.
This takes place in USA.
Yeah. And then description would be like, I'm just gonna copy paste what Ryan had written before because it's a good one. And another thing you can do is you can say whether a field is nullable. So if this was, in this case, all our fields are required, but if we wanted to make this description here nullable, so we don't really care or not every character has a description, we can do it this way. And then this one also is, I'm just going to do this. Whoops. So with this one, we're telling it, give me a prompt that we can use to pass to the Imagen model. And so now we have a schema.
Meta.
Yeah. So yeah, and sometimes I actually use Gemini to just be like, or I have a vague idea in my mind of what I want an image to be, and I'm bad at writing image generation prompts, so I use something similar to this in like the Gemini app to give me a better prompt.
I find that Gemini is way better at prompting Gemini, Imagen, and VO than I ever am. I'm like,
100%.
I want a picture of donuts, and then it shows like, a cartoon donut, and then I'm like, let's try and get Gemini in here, and then like Gemini writes like a 15-page prompt, and I pass it into Imagen, and it just looks so good and real. It's done.
It's the most exquisite donut you've ever seen.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then you want to have it.
Yeah.
Makes me want to go to Waterloo and get some maple bacon donuts.
I'm sure we could find some somewhere here. Yeah. And so now we've written our schema. And what we did either of you double check that? I guess we were just gonna see.
Yeah.
But
I have a hunch.
Okay.
A documented hunch.
Well, people on the stream can tell us what they think.
It's true.
I should have made
So tell us if you think this works or if it fails. And if it fails, tell us why.
And
could you do a
don't read
poll?
my chat message?
Yeah, I can set up a poll.
Okay.
Let's try that.
Despite my many
no,
screens,
I can't.
I don't have chat open, so I wouldn't see it anyway. We can also do this inline, just to be clear. So like the alternative approach would be to just go, and if you type dot, it will autocomplete with the different types of schemas you can produce. But I just like keeping them encapsulated near my type. So let's
have
see.
some faith, Franklin.
Okay, so I started a poll.
There we go.
And then normally in your app, you would probably do something like this. To get your instance of the Firebase AI SDK. For the purposes of this quick start app, we support both Vertex AI and Gemini developer API and being able to switch between them easily. So we have the instance already passed in. So it just happens to be called Firebase service. So we'll create our generative model and pass in the model name and the generation config. And all of this could be done inline. I won't worry about the formatting here. And I think Ryan would know better. Do you know if this is going to explode without having instantiated Imagen? I guess we'll find out too.
I think it might be okay. Well, yeah, let's find out.
Okay.
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah.
Like, is this gonna work?
Okay. So we're going to let's see what happens. I probably missed something here. So
maybe if you want to minimize the developer console for a moment.
Oh.
think-
Because we're logging the curl statements.
Yeah.
We also haven't called the model yet, which is a very important.
That is true. Yeah, it's important to actually call the model.
So it does not crash. It works perfectly. It just doesn't do anything.
So Franklin was right. There was an error.
Yeah.
No, there was no error.
Well, I guess it is true if we never call it.
Yeah.
If an error falls in the woods.
Yeah. Okay. So our generative model in our up here is optional. So we'll in this case I'll just return, or we can throw an error or something. I guess we already have an error message field. So I'll just do something like didn't initialize generative model. Okay. Sorry. I think it's called error message. We'll see if this works. Let me just. Oh, I need to add.
You need to return.
A return.
I think. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So now we know our generative model is legitimate. So I'm just going to skip a few niceties like loading and that, and we'll just that's not the right code at all that Xcode completed. Okay, so let's just generate content, and I'm just gonna copy in a prompt here. What kind of character do we want to generate? Do we want to start?
A woodland elf wizard that's afraid of the dark.
Ooh.
Woodland
Is that
elf.
Is that just off the top of the head? That is wildly impressive.
Well, I'm actually playing a character in Pathfinder named Oz, but they are not afraid of the dark. They're also a human, but they are a wizard. If you're curious.
All right. So 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do this so we can play with different ones if people want to choose anything, and then that can also be passed in line. But so then we'll go try await on this, and then we'll get our response. This isn't a throwing one, so I'll have to wrap this in a do.
I would just like to call myself out before anyone else calls me out on it. I know I said like 2 or 3 lines of code, and this has been more than 2 or 3 lines of code.
So
This is all additional things that you can do on top of it. Here's the meat and potatoes right here of like calling generate content with your text and getting the response out. That is all you need to do to start using Gemini. We're jumping ahead a little bit in terms of giving it an object that we actually want to generate. And so, we have found in a lot of the times when you generate text, there's the chat UIs that is what a lot of people jump to when you think of integrating AI into your application. Like, hey, great, you have a chat experience. And like, there's some really interesting use cases and really useful situations when you want a chat experience in your application, and like help in, that might be the core of the application. But I have found there's some really interesting pieces that are AI powered that you might not even think are AI powered necessarily, of generating structured data, parsing data and putting it into a structured manner. Like generative AI is really good with that. And there's some other use cases as well, like classification that you might have. Mm-hmm. And so you might not even think that this is like an AI powered feature, but it's enabling some really cool experiences in your application.
Mm. I remember when I was initially working on my Read It Later app that I wanted something that allows me to auto-generate hashtags for any links that I store into the application. And back then, I was thinking about using the Google Cloud Natural Language API. And one, it was very expensive. And two, it also was very limited in what it could do. And now you can basically just send a prompt and say, here is some random text. Can you please categorize this? I've got a pre-existing list of hashtags. Can you please use them and only make new ones up if you don't find the right one there? And give me a synopsis of the text, and that's it, right? And it's super cheap by now.
What was the natural language API that you said?
The Google Cloud Natural Language API. I mean,
said
it has
very
some
quickly, and it sounded like a different brand. And I thought like they made TV shows.
Like, how dare you?
I was like, I didn't know they.
No, it has some fantastic features. For example, it can exactly tell you if you give it a sentence. It can tell you what's the verb, what's the object, the subject, and stuff like that, and the relationship between the words. So that is fantastic, but that's usually not what you need, except for if you're building apps for language researchers.
Oh wait, did you say this was a Google API?
Yep.
Okay, so there's actually an on-device one from Apple that's, I think, relatively recent that does that too, that I've seen. I haven't tried it, so I don't know how well it works. But, so we're currently in a state where we haven't decoded the data we've got back yet. I'm just printing the JSON text to the console here. So do we want to see if it'll explode?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay. Maybe I'll remove the breakpoint and we'll just see what. We'll see if an error message appears. Okay. And this assumes I've wired
curl
it up.
statements on.
That is a good question. I do. Let's
just in case.
Yeah, on the edge of my seat here.
There's something that we built into the SDK, a log of the same request that's going out as a curl statement, and that's been really helpful to iterate for us as we're trying to like just see behavior. Look at that.
So we have
nice.
Yeah.
So it does work.
Yeah.
It works.
That's amazing. Nice. Well done.
We don't need a UI, right? We'll just simplify this.
Everything's based in the terminal now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now what we'll need to do is decode this text we've got as JSON. I'll just use Apple's JSON decoder here. And let's go decode. I'll have to put the text in a data, but that's easy enough. D&D character self, and then we may I may take a shortcut here, and let's see. So it's I forget the syntax here. It is
It's like text
using. Oh wait, yeah, text dot using. Sorry. Data. This was what I wanted. Yeah.
UTF-8.
Yeah. And what's it yelling at me about here? Oh, how about we just take a shortcut, and I will do this. Call can throw. Oh, that one's here. We can clean this up after. This decode will also. Let me just see. Insert where I probably am missing a bracket. Oh, too many. Okay. Okay, so we should have a character now. And I'm assuming there is a spot for me to. Okay, we have a variable character that I can put it in.
Convenient.
Yes.
Oh yeah, somebody did some good pre-work.
Yeah. Don't do this in production. Okay. Don't.
The number of exclamation marks, is equal to the number of what the F's in your production code, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we're that confident in Gemini's ability to stick to the proper schema.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't have an image yet, but we have now a character, Alara Metal Light. She's fairly old, 100. Is that a lot for an elf? I don't know.
No, I think elves live to like 300, right?
Okay, so she's.
Well, we clamped it on the upper end. So.
Yeah, maybe we should have done something different there. Okay, so we've got everything but the image now. So next up, we'll move to the Imagen model. Okay, so I'm assuming there is also. Okay, I will go.
Franklin is actually correct here. I just looked it up too. Elves can actually reach 1,000 years old.
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll fix our schema. Yeah. I need to Firebase service. Imagen model.
So we already have the text prompt that we're going to pass to Imagen. Not quite.
I see a model and I say model.
Yeah. Okay. Let me
check your biases, Apple.
Yeah. Okay, let me just do a quick. Oh, I see. Sorry, we're in the wrong spot here.
Yeah, I think we can do that in the setup.
Yeah. Let's go back up here and set up our model. You're getting a true coding on the fly experience here.
Yeah,
so
one person coding, 3 people looking on, and the audience.
It's pair.
Which model did you use, Ryan?
I used Imagen 4.0 fast.
Is that what you call it?
Oh wow, those were generated with fast.
Imagen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I might be mispronouncing it myself.
Yeah.
I think
I
I
don't-
like.
I actually don't
I'm
know
fairly
how it's
certain
pronounced.
it's Imagen,
Yes.
but I've been saying
Um,
Imagen for far too long, and I
Yeah.
apologize.
Imagen also sounds right,
Yeah.
though. Now that you say
Like
it.
Imagen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I got the right model name because we need to look it up online. But I will. If I didn't, it'll just yell at me and we'll fix it.
It's
Um,
you're gonna want Imagen dash 4.0 dash fast. You just need to add dash generate dash 001.
I definitely
There we
did
go.
not have that on memory. So yeah, extreme pair programming. Are there any other settings we want to put on here, right?
I think aspect ratio of 1:1. I'm not sure what the default is.
Okay.
So yeah, you can ask Imagen or Imagine, however you want to call it, for a couple different settings. And so there's aspect ratio. You can ask for
Just
image formats
autocomplete this
as well. So I think you can do 16 by 9, 9 by 16, 4 by 3, 3 by 4, and 1 by 1.
Do you
and
want
depending
to?
on which
One by one.
Imagen model you're using, you can ask for between 1 and 4 images. So say you're in this situation, imagine you're like onboarding a user, or you're to the game, and you could generate with the same description, you could generate 3 different images or 4 different images and then let the user pick. And so it's a nice way to sort of like bring some optionality to it and see what the model can generate. Because even with the same prompt, depending on the seed, you'll get some different results. And so it's fun to play around with. I could just sit with image generation for hours and play with it. It's way too fun.
So, and we can also change what image format comes back. So if we want it to be PNG or JPEG, the default's PNG. But and did you say 1:1, Ryan? Or
1:1, yeah.
Okay.
Because I think we've
then
got a square photo in there.
That's also the default. So we can actually
there we
just
go.
get rid of our generation config and go all default.
Nice.
And
It's just called Imagen. I apologize for the inconsistent naming. Would have been caught in code review.
Yeah. We'll ask Gemini to do a code review of this after. I suppose. It can probably fix all those exclamation marks we put in there. And okay, so now that we have our instance of Imagen, whoops, sorry. Guard let Imagen else. And I'll do an error message equals. There we go. I really like that you don't have to type equals Imagen anymore.
Yep. No, you did.
And okay, so then we'll go Imagen.generate images. And did you give me a prompt? Oh, we have our prompt from the
Gemini gives us the prompt. So it's
yeah.
like character.
So it's in character dot image prompt. So
Nice.
I guess we'll want to guard let the or we can
Let's
make me image.
Let's do it live.
Okay. And okay.
Live
So
streaming
we'll just
where force unwrapping is encouraged.
Yeah.
Don't do this at home, children.
Yes.
So we'll then go error message equals hopefully it'll fail to generate image. Okay. And why did it add an extra? There we go. And then we need to await it because it's an async operation, and we'll assign it to, I'm assuming there's a character image, which is a UI image equals, and I think this is going to fail because Let me just, I need to go, let me just assign this to an image first. That we get, we'll go image response, or I could just do response. And then image response dot images. So this is where you get an array of images back from the model. We only have one, so which is the default. And then I'm going to need to make a UI image out of this. I think I thought we had a convenience successor for that, but maybe we never added it.
There's a UI image initializer that takes in data.
Okay. I thought at one point we did add.
Maybe.
Okay.
If not, we should check.
Yeah, because that would be a nice cleanup there.
I think as you're writing this, I can sort of give some explanations as well in terms of API design. So you might think like generate images that you want the response to be an image, but it turns out with both using Gemini and Imagen, there's associated metadata that is important for your usage. And so I think for Imagen, there's some data could be filtered out based on the user prompt. And so there's like safety settings you can set. There's other different ways and like safety triggers that might get hit by the model. And it's important to get those back. Yeah, so there's a filtered reason if any of the generated images are filtered out. So you might ask for 4, but only get 2 back because 2 of them are filtered because they're deemed unsafe based on your settings that you provided.
So let's see if this if I've wired this up correctly. Okay. I did not.
I think you need to call generate
it.
Image.
Yes, that would help.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, in generate character. I guess we'll do it in here. Unless you have a better...
No, I think that's a good spot for it.
Okay, and I'll need to await this. I think it's not throwing, so...
All right, drum roll. Or barks, either way, your choice. Oh,
no. That's the wrong one.
Not expected.
There we go.
Hey!
It's because we had some loading code in there, but for brevity, it's omitted. But that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So let us know if let's fix our schema so that we can make older elves.
I do like though that it's definitely erring on the older side because it knows that elves are older, right? Like we haven't seen a 25-year-old elf
Elves
yet.
Are like they reach adulthood when they turn 100, I believe.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay. Some Gemini is doing the right thing there.
Yeah. Especially with the lower bound being 21, because that's like when you generally are considered an adult.
Nice.
Oh, this one's 75.
Younger. Let's try something like that's afraid of the dark. He should be fairly old for an elf.
All right. I'm going to say 900.
I'm guessing 732. We're going Price is Right rules, right?
650. You went over.
Oh.
I did. Dun, 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 dun.
It really likes the name Elara today.
I think we've definitely sort of constrained with the woodland elf that's afraid of the dark. And so
Yeah.
I'm curious if you remove that and maybe just go Dungeons and Dragons character. Maybe I think we were having fun with that's a beach themed. Oh, we've got a hat. We've got accessories.
I want
now.
to get into the theme.
I love it.
Whoops. The elf still, or
No, just
maybe dwarf.
Just let's go wild. Oh, I think let's let Gemini decide. Just keep hitting generate and see what pops up.
this beach themed. And do you want to do anything like give them accessories like
I mean, a hat comes to mind.
Yeah. Accessories like a hat and
what about tabaxi?
What's this?
That's like a cat person.
Oh,
A tabaxi. Yeah.
how do I spell?
I read a lot of these books.
Okay.
we walked in unknowingly to
You just picked the right
zone.
theme for me.
Yeah, this is unexpected.
Okay, let me quickly.
What's the spelling? Let's put them in the background. How do you spell it, Nohi?
TABAXI.
Should that be capitalized?
Sure.
Okay. And do we would just want this in the background?
Yeah, let's see.
Of the image?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if it can handle this.
I feel like we're getting pretty edge casey here.
Yeah.
And let's just hit generate a couple times after. Sandy. Let's see. Oh, nice.
Sandcastle competition.
We've generated a couple of times now. I wonder if it's time to have a look at the console and take a look at the token limits.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoa.
Nice. Finn. Hello.
The other thing we can do. Let me just let me get rid of the fast. We can get the fast models, the one that's great for prototyping, which I suppose we're doing now, but the main line model will give better pictures.
I thought those were pretty good.
Yeah.
No complaints.
With the
Sandy Sea Dog.
Okay. The fast one is faster, but
Nice.
Okay.
I mean, I think we got to ask Nohi as the judge. How are they looking?
I thought they looked good to me. Although it's also like we talked about this before. Your screen shows up so small on my screen that looks pretty good from what I can see.
The postage stamp looks fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the console.
Okay, and just I gotta hide some URLs. Let's see. I don't know how I'm going to do this actually.
I think maybe because I think this is it.
You can also share just the Chrome tab if that's easier.
Yeah, that might be better. Let me just double check that there's nothing. Even this is a little.
I say maybe one thing we haven't gone over yet is I talked about the Gemini Developer API and Vertex AI in terms of authentication, but we didn't talk about any really the big differences. And so the primary one is the Gemini Developer API. You can get started for free. So if you are on the Spark plan, and so you don't have billing enabled, you get some pretty reasonable and healthy limits for the Developer API that you can use for free. Models have different quotas as well. and it's a great way to get started and start experimenting with your application. And I think a lot of actual like production apps could use this depending on how prominent the AI features are in your application. And so if you're using a chat experience, you're probably going to want to make sure you have really high limits. But say you're doing this as like, you're doing the character creation and you only do that once in your application lifecycle, or it happens, pretty infrequently, you might be fine with that free limit and be able to do that there. So it's definitely worth checking out and experimenting, but you can get started for free there. Once you add billing to your project, or if you already have billing to your project, the developer API is paid, and there are different tiers for that. And the Vertex AI API is always paid. And so that's, an important distinction to call out.
Mm-hmm. And that's all on the pricing overview page, I assume.
Yes, which I have a link to right here. I'll drop that in the chat.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can't share my screen just because there's too much Google internal stuff on there with in the Google Cloud Console. But this page on our Firebase AI Logic documentation, rate limits and quota, will help you set the per user rate limits.
Mm-hmm.
So currently you need to do this in the Google Cloud Console, so rather than the Firebase console. So maybe that's something we want to think about in the future. But you can configure based on per region when it comes to the Vertex AI, or global if it's the Gemini developer API.
So how does it determine what's a user? So let's assume that we built this application, you ship it to the App Store, and then Noe and I download it on our devices. And because I have an iPad and an iPhone, I download it on both devices, and then I use them in parallel because reasons. Would I count as 2 users and Noe as 1 user because he's only using it on one device, or how does it work?
So since it's a Google Cloud quota, it's rather than a user in their land is going to be essentially like an IP address. So both of you are going to count as 1 user, but that quota is going to be shared across all those devices you have, Peter. So in the future, it would be nice if we based it on, like, say, a Firebase auth user. Yeah, for now, that's sort of the granularity at which you're getting at.
I'm confused because you said that both of my devices would count as 1 user, but they typically have individual IP addresses, right?
Same public IP address. So
if I'm behind a router, but if they're both, okay, let's assume I'm out and about and I have 2 iPhones, then they have 2 IP addresses, 1 each.
Yeah. So yeah, if you've got 2 iPhones out and about, I'm jealous, and you'll get
just giving you an example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Does it only count the IPv4? Because doesn't IPv6 show up as 2 different devices when you connect from like your home router?
I don't
could be
actually
totally
know
wrong.
how that would play out.
Yeah, I feel like we're down to implementation details. It's not perfectly clear, and not something we do. I think ultimately, Curious to hear in the chat if this is something where you want Firebase auth user based rate limits and things like that. I think it's absolutely worth telling us. It's on our mind. There's so many things we want to do, and just a matter of finding the time to do it all. And so if we get a lot of feedback that is something folks want, that helps us prioritize it as we're picking projects to work on.
And Ryan, is there a website where I could give this feedback to you?
There is a website. Two, I would say. There's the UserVoice. Is UserVoice the one you were going to say?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. I was
just making
it seems
sure.
like every video, it's like me and Peter bring that up.
All right. Yes, there's Firebase UserVoice is helpful, and we review that one. I was also going to say also our GitHub repo. You will find Andrew and myself. I'm not as common there anymore, but our team in the Firebase iOS SDK GitHub repo, and there's discussions, there's issues. If you run into challenges, file an issue, file feature request there as well. There's a template for that, and there's discussion section as well. So that will help for the iOS SDK specific ones. For broader features, UserVoice is definitely a great place to be.
And our tech lead Paul is very good about seeing all the issues come in, and Nick, the iOS tech lead as well. I don't want to call out everyone's name, but we have several people that are very diligent about looking at the new issues that come in. So on our repo,
I think if you can emulate some of the user limits as well on your own side with like client-side logic, like saying, hey, you can only make these calls if you're authenticated, like signed-in user that maybe has this property, and like whether it's remote config or Firestore or something like that. That's not going to be enforced on the project itself at the moment, but it can definitely like add some roadblocks and make sure that you don't have a single user of your application, using all your quota.
Yeah. I recently started using a book tracker, and it has a couple of AI features that are not as useful as I thought initially they would be. But one of the features is chat with a book, right? And so you're reading the book, and then the idea is you can chat with the app about the book, and it would tell you who's the main character and stuff like that. So when you buy the app, and I liked it so much, I bought a lifetime license, then you get a couple of credits for using this AI feature. And they do it in a very smart way, right? So as a lifetime user, you get a number of credits. And once you've used them up, you might be worried, oh, so I used them up, so I've completely burned all my credits, but you can buy new ones. And I think what they do is they basically price the tokens, and they're actually called tokens, I think, to match what they would pay to whichever model they're using to generate the answers. And I think that is a very fair approach to making those features available to anybody, not just like the users who are in the top tier of any subscription, but to literally anyone. And then, once you've used up your credits, you can buy new ones. So I think that is a fair model. And because we get the token count back on the response, that is something that should be fairly straightforward to implement, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would also say the prices have gone down drastically. So I'll pop quiz, see if anyone can guess how much it costs per million token input for flashlight, 2.5 flashlight.
Oh, I think I know.
I'm going to say 1 cent.
It's less than that. It's like $0.007.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cheap.
For a million tokens input?
Oh, for a million? Is it 10 cents?
It is 10 cents. 10 cents for a million tokens, of which we used, probably 200 or so in this. So I don't know if we reached the cent mark yet for Gemini Flashlight usage, at least. And for Imagen Fast, it's 2 cents an image on Vertex, and for the regular image, it's 4 cents. So we maybe used about 15 to 20 cents kind of thing as we're iterating. And image output is going to be more expensive just from a cost standpoint, but the text stuff is like quite inexpensive. I imagine if you're sending books as the context, when you're using a little bit more tokens than created Dungeons and Dragons character.
So just to give you an idea, this is only counting the Gemini part, not the Imagen tokens. But it was like so
31 in and 127 out. Looks like.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. You can kind of think that I think they say something like 3 or 4 tokens per English word, as a sort of approximation. And another thing I found pretty useful is if I just go to Google AI Studio, then I can iterate on my prompts there too. And that also helps you pick the model. Because you can be like, well, this one's not giving me, the responses I'm satisfied with. So I'll bump up to the next one, or vice versa. It's like, it's too slow and I'm getting more than I need. And they have the token counts on there too. So that's another way to sort of get an idea of what things will cost.
I think one thing I'd mention as well, as we're talking about choosing models, the models are getting better and better. And so we recommend using remote config for storing properties like prompts, model name, things like that, and being able to update them. Both so, say there's a new version that comes out and you find that the model that's sort of one tier lower, the next version, or, if there's a next version of, you're using Flash now and maybe the next version of Flashlight or something like that, ends up being totally reasonable for your use case. And you can use remote config and update that. And update the prompt as needed. And so it's a great way to manage these.
Yeah. That makes sense. It would probably also be a good idea to maybe send down 2 model names, the one that you want to use in a fallback one in case that, one gets deprecated over the course of the lifetime of your app. So maybe that's also something to consider.
Definitely.
Or a remote config, right? You just push the model you want to use.
Oh, your audio is, I don't know if your mic's being used properly. Oh no, you sound so far away.
Let me try this again.
Nope.
I think it's
You're
a different
still sitting
mic
in the
being
can.
used.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yay. Okay. I don't know why it does that. I was going to say, or you can use remote config, right? To like then push the model name down, unless that's what you're already talking about. And I definitely heard that.
That's what Ryan suggested.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
All good. I saw you drop briefly, and so we'll call it a technical issue.
Yeah, I mean, it just,
you're technically listening.
All right, so we're a little over time already, but we wanted to give you the opportunity to call out anything that we haven't covered yet that's super important, or plug any additional resources that people should check out. We've already covered the repository and UserVoice, but if there is anything else that you would totally recommend, now is the time.
I think on my side, I would say, if you don't know how you want to add AI to your app, ask Gemini. It's actually quite helpful. You can get started for free, trying out prompts. Try it out. See what works, see what doesn't work. It's it's a really exciting time being able to add some really interesting features that don't necessarily need to be like flashy AI based. You might just be able to have new workflows that weren't possible before. And stay in touch. Let us know what you like. Let us know what features are missing that you really want. Let us know of really cool use cases you find. We try to be available through UserVoice, through GitHub, and we look forward to seeing what everyone can build.
Awesome.
I really want to know what's on the other side of the whiteboard.
That's for later.
And the after hours.
Yeah.
And in 30 seconds, I want to just share something we've been cooking up. I'm just copy pasting it in here.
Oh, a little teaser.
A teaser. Instead of having to manually write your schema, you can just annotate it with a macro here, and do things like the range of, and then this way your schema will remain in line with your actual underlying data structure. And then I just need to change one little thing here to, but I can't remember the field because I just added it this morning. And JSON. Sorry, almost had it, but I'll just sneak in. Don't judge me on this code. I was doing it really quickly.
Firebase Generable. There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Nice.
So now, instead of having to keep track of that, we'll see if it actually works. Fingers crossed.
Nice. Look at that.
Yeah.
Much nicer than having to manually write those.
Yeah. That's a really nice one more thing.
When?
When?
Macros when.
As soon as possible. You would not want them now. The code wouldn't be up to your standards. But let them bake a little bit longer and get them ready for you. But
but if people
Definitely high
want
on
to
my
get
priority.
their hands on it while they're hot, can they just go to your branch?
They're a
Or
little
is it
too
everything-
hot still.
Okay.
Give it another little bit, and we'll make
Soon.
sure to announce it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, I'm
awesome.
frozen.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for having us.
That was fun. I think, we got through a lot, and oops, Andrew
I'm
turned
frozen.
into an avatar.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Trying to unfreeze myself. I'll leave and come back in.
All right. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit more. I think we got through quite a bit of stuff there today, and that was really great. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for showing us all the latest stuff. As Ryan mentioned, people are always we're happy to listen to everybody's feedback. So go to the repository, send your feedback, use UserVoice to send your feature requests. And let's see if Andrew is back. Nope.
Oh,
Oh, well, maybe it's just the camera.
yeah.
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you at least. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks Ryan and Andrew for walking us through. That was really exciting. And I think in one of the next after our live streams, we will see at least part of you again, because we want to see the same for Android, right?
I guess so. Yeah, I'm happy to be back. Just,
Yeah.
just send the invite, and I will try to
If
be.
you if you remember from the beginning of this conversation, I think Andrew also has a contract where he has to follow Ryan.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we've got some Android engineers who work on this, so we will probably bring them in. As much as I love seeing Andrew.
I'll wear a different hat. I'll wear my Android hat.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for asking all the questions. If you've got any more questions, you can still leave them under the video. We will check for the next couple of days, but feel free to come to the repositories, ask there, and also use UserVoice. And with that, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. Take care.
See ya.
And we are still live, just so that way Peter's aware.
Yep. I'm gonna